Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 9 of Untapped. We've got JX here with us today.
Hola.
Super special guy in the podcast studio. We're doing take 2 on this one. Unfortunately, we shot this one a couple weeks ago, and Mr. Dana had a rough one. He went up to Chicago. They lost his luggage. I think a lot of people have heard about how Southwest has had a lot of problems. And kind of sad, Dana lost a lot, went through a lot during that time. And hey, we're going to shoot this podcast again. It's going to be better than the last one. As I said, we'll get into JX about who he is exactly. Some might say that he's a next-gen Tom Cruise or maybe a next-gen James Franco. But pretty down-to-earth dude right here. Hey, he has this line product. He's a businessman. He's a marketer. He's into branding. He's in with the team of the Timbo Sugar Show of Tim Welch and Sugar Sean O'Malley. And he is a purple belt. He's been my coach for just about 3 years in Jiu Jitsu, my favorite coach and unbelievable coach. And he's into a lot of things. And we're really excited to have JX here. He's just an awesome dude and a leader of our community. And one of our favorite people. First, I want to give a little bit of updates on what's going on with Mr. Levi and what's going on with me. Let's see, with the cancer battle, I've been getting asked a lot what's going on. We had a week before last where things were going awesome. We took 10 days off from chemo, and things were going great. I got to train 9 times in the week. There were some moments where I was going no gi. It's jiu-jitsu where you don't wear any gi. You're just kind of battling. It's like fighting without punching, wouldn't you say? No gi.
Yeah.
And I was feeling like I was 19. I was hanging in there. I think I avoided JX, man, but Levi. But I was doing yeah, I was doing good. I was coming back up, and then we started chemo again, and boom, it went the other direction a little bit. So what's happening on this chemo is it's an immunomodulator. It's a new class of medicine. And most all of these chemos that I'm doing are derived originally from plants. So this one was derived, kind of studied through studying different plants that have been used in South America and parts of Asia. And this one they're really trying to boost T cells. A lot of the studies in the last few years in treating cancer has been focused on boosting T cells, because usually when you have a blood cancer, a lot of cancers, there's some kind of breakdown in your T cells. Your T cells are the number one parts of your cells that fight cancer. So this one has been incredible and kind of boosting my T cells, but my body has a lot of weird stuff going on with the immune system. So I have a donor immune system. So when it starts to get over revved, my body goes to try to fight and help at the same time. So it creates something called a cytokinetic storm in my body, and it produces pretty much rheumatoid arthritis that starts to attack my organs. So we had a day there where pretty close to battling death, a little more than some we might imagine. So we keep pressing forward. We keep battling. I'm feeling pretty good today. We're battling some things here and there, but I mention this because I feel like as I go along, and I'm encouraged by this group and our community and the people that I'm very fortunate to be around and follow my God, is that I've been able to learn more and more about what to do to optimize health. So I'm feeling that this whole thing here, I'm doing things that have never been done before. I really believe that, and I look forward to sharing more and more about those. And we really need to hear now about what's going on with Mr. Levi Kelly and exciting stuff that's going on with the baseball.
First, I just want to ask: are you starting to get used to understand this chemo?
This is taking the longest to find a rhythm and a pattern to. For some reason, I think we might need to hit it with another. There's with the immune system, it's called graft versus host. When my immune system starts to get over revved, we actually have to hit it with more of a standard chemo that knocks the immune system down. So I think that's what we might have to do, is hit it with something so we kind of try to get under control. it's been a little tough because usually I can find a rhythm of where I can train, but on this one, I know if I sit, no matter what, that's the easy thing. If you sit, then I'm not going to tax my body and it might be safer. But everything that I've learned and done is that no matter what the science says, you got to move. You got to keep moving. So this one, I'm still trying to wrap my brain around altogether. Still learning.
Sure. Baseball stuff, I'm full go. Like, it's pretty much full go now until end of September, like early October. So less jiu-jitsu and stuff like that, and just full baseball mind now. That's really the whole update with me. My brother's having a baby boy too. We found out. Pumped about that, and
Levi
that's
Jr.?
about it. No,
Oh, LJ?
I think what are they doing? Easton Lee Kelly. So it'll be Elk
Oh, LJ.
Crazy. Love it.
Do you have a middle name?
Hunter.
Hunter?
Yeah.
Do you have a middle name, Kyle?
Richard.
Richard? I don't have one.
No middle name?
No middle name.
X. I thought it's X.
No.
JX.
yeah.
Soto.
That's how it'd be like in the movies, like, you know, when they put like the artists, they'll put like Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. Maybe that'll be my middle name. Just like the nickname will be your middle name.
I like that.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
I know, I always thought it was weird that I didn't have a middle name. But
I think
I
it's
asked my
it's
mama
pretty
and
cool.
she said, I don't know.
Everybody in your family
need
doesn't,
one.
or no?
No, it's weird because my sisters and brother do, but for some reason I
They're
don't.
just like, nah, you're not getting one.
I'm like, all right.
This guy doesn't need one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. With you, Levi, why is it that you're not training jiu-jitsu as much right now?
I think just as far as it's so close now, so if something happened, like if I tweaked something, I don't feel like I would have enough time to get it back to 100% before spring training. So I've kind of and even that thought of like, I want to protect myself. Like, I don't feel like I should train if that's a thought. If I'm kind of like second guessing because of, I don't want to get hurt. I feel like that's when you get hurt. So I've just decided if I'm a little bit like fearful of getting hurt, I should just stay away. And if I feel a day where it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go, then I'll go. But as of right now, my mindset's like so focused on baseball that I don't want to risk anything.
I figure you got even Bo Jackson, who was Deion Sanders, was probably the last famous guy to do two really different types of sports. He had seasons too. And you gotta have, even in jiu-jitsu, do you find that true? We'll transfer JX a little bit. He's been I'd like to hear about how you got into jiu-jitsu and what are the things, how has that helped you in life and your business and stuff? Maybe you could flow on that a little bit.
I think, pretty much a lot of people, I was a little bit after high school, I just had this moment of like, I was very unhealthy and I wasn't really working out or doing much. And kind of same route, just start bumping self-help podcast type in that area. And then Joe Rogan would always talk about jiu-jitsu. So it always intrigued me. And one day I was driving home and I seen a gym. It didn't even say the name of the gym. It was just really big, bold letters. It just said jiu-jitsu. So I just signed up one day and then I never looked back 5 years later. Like, as soon as I hit the mats, I was like addicted to it. For some reason, like, I don't know, it just like brought joy to me. It was weird. It's like first day, even when obviously you don't know anything, you feel pretty much dumb and you're getting beat up by everybody. In my head, I thought of it like, okay, one day I'm going to be able to play with somebody the way this person is just playing with me, And of course, you learn how to defend yourself and you get in shape. And jiu-jitsu is such like a cool community because everybody's very, they want to all obviously learn how to fight and just kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Elevate their life. You know what I mean? Everybody's on the same kind of wave. So it just all clicked. And I think this is the only thing I really stuck with the longest. I would always quit and everything. Like, I don't know why. But whether it's jobs or being in a relationship with girls or whatever it is, I would always just quit. But jiu-jitsu, I don't even ever think about quitting, So it's like a lifestyle at this point. But I think it just taught me just consistent. When you're consistent, like, it's going to pay off, Same thing with the brand. I've been doing the brand for pretty much almost like the same, like 5+ years.
Is that product?
Yeah, product de SOTO, product by SOTO. now just being consistent, like the past year, really, it's really been taking off like more. And same thing, it just showed me as long as I'm consistent and keep showing up and keep improving little by little, like it's gonna show, you know.
That's beautiful.
So yeah,
man. So what made you want to develop this brand product, and what is it exactly? Hard to describe.
Okay, I'm trying to think. What is product? Basically, when I created it, around the time when I got into photos and videos, I was always shooting a lot of other people's brands, like locally. And in my head, I was always thinking, like, if this was up to me, I would make this different. Like, I would present it different. I would do different design, just the whole thing, you know. And something in me was just like, obviously, just start your own. So I just started my own. It wasn't really a clothing brand idea. It was more like a lifestyle, like, or a platform, should I say, where I just wanted my own space to kind of create from and out of with the name versus working for someone else, you know. And I remember I was reading this book. It's called Conversations with God. I don't know if you've read it before, but there's like part 1 to 3 are the main ones, and then it keeps going. And there's like a bunch of sub books. But anyways, it was a part in there that kind of stuck out to me. And it was just talking about the line, all I remember is be the product of your highest wishes. So I don't know why that word product just stuck out to me. And so I just ran with that. And 5 years later, I feel like I understand the direction I'm going with product. It's very streetwear inspired. Well, it is streetwear. And then obviously Jiu Jitsu. So I kind of try to mesh both worlds to give Jiu Jitsu like a cooler, just a cooler aesthetic, I guess. Because there's a lot of Jiu Jitsu brands that are like kind of cheesy in my perspective. And I just wanted to kind of run it through my filter and see what I can bring. But I don't want it to be just a Jiu Jitsu brand, but that's for sure like a big core of it. I don't know if that answered the question.
That's beautiful. You've encouraged me so much, and I think you're next gen world top in branding and marketing. And I studied probably like 20 years ago. I studied pretty deeply into marketing branding from the college type of setting. And when I came across you 3 years ago, you started mentioning books you'd been reading. I was like, yeah. Whoa! So I was like, oh yeah, I remember that one. I read that one in my marketing class or whatever. And then you mentioned some books I didn't know, and then we started talking. I remember at one point you even saying to me, do you think I should go to college for this? And I was like, hell no.
Yeah. I know. I feel like same thing as the years went on. I was like kind of eager for information. Like I wanted to learn more about, well, I was always, every time I think of a brand, I always think of it as like a big, almost like a social experiment / like a psychology type thing, because it's like, why are we attracted to certain brands or logos or colors? I mean, there's some obvious ones like the expensive brands. Like everybody wants like a Louis bag just because it, for whatever reason, it symbolizes like you've made it or you're wealthy or you look cool, whatever. But there's more in depth, you know. I think a good brand is like the community around it. You know, everybody wants to be a part of a community, like whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether even like here, if you built, like everybody wants to live like a healthier lifestyle, eat better type of thing. Trying to catch my thought. Where
it's
I was
like
going
the
with
brand
that.
stands for something.
Yeah,
so like
yes.
Product. This.
Yeah.
If you're rocking product, then you're probably into these things.
Yeah, exactly. If you're wearing it, you probably have good taste. But yes. Obviously, like you're probably into jiu-jitsu. You're probably like, yeah, you enjoy like certain colors that maybe I curate and the design elements of it, you know. But yeah, at the end of the day, is like you just want to be a part of something. Right. I think everybody wants that, you know. Whether that's why we joined baseball, like you're in a team, in a group, in a brotherhood. Jiu-jitsu, same thing, or a gym. Right. Or whatever, you know what I mean? So
a brand is like expression.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
a way to express yourself.
It's
like Caesar with his primal thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same type
and I
of
feel
deal.
like a lot of people want to start their own brand. They're always eager to do it, and it's just kind of like scary at first. But once you kind of start doing it and you figure out like, okay, this is my lane. And I also figured out at first, when I first started, it was very, I think, I don't know if the word's naive. I don't want to say naive. It sounds kind of mean to say, but oh, I want this to be for everybody, you know. But I
Mhm.
think as soon as you figure out who it's for more, like your target audience or who you're really trying to cater to, then I think that's when it'll start clicking more.
Right.
Because it's too vague, you know? Like it's too vague when you say it's for everybody. Like it's not, you
Yeah.
know? But that's where I'm at now. I feel like as soon as I started making jiu-jitsu clothes, obviously I'm in that world. I've been in the world. And it just started kind of to click more. But I don't want to be just a jiu-jitsu brand, you know? I want it to be like a tier of it, I guess. You know how
Mhm.
like Disney has tiers of whatever. They have like Disney World, Disneyland, then they have like all these shows, and then they start producing, I don't know, they bought Star Wars, stuff like that, you know. It's just like its own little universe. So this is just kind of like my first little tier that I'm branching off into, if that makes sense.
That's beautiful. It makes I can wear this, and an old guy like me can kind of feel like he's cool too. You know what I mean? Hey, JX is connected real close. He's been working on the Timbo Sugar Show for 3-4 years now.
Yeah, about that. Probably 4, maybe.
Yeah, and if people don't, most people who are listening to this are going to know Sugar, and some that don't. We believe he has definitely become one of the most famous people in the world, and his brand resonates a lot with what JX is talking about. You got Tim Welch, the coach, the other part of Timbo Sugar Show, and you got Sugar Sean O'Malley. And both these guys are just geniuses in how they manage business, kind of staying ahead of the trends, what's coming next, and developing a brand. How do you feel you've been impacted? We'll just focus on Sugar maybe. How have you been impacted by being around Sugar and developing your own brand? And how do you think maybe you've impacted him?
I for sure I could see how he's very I don't know if the word is strategic or not, but he's aware of what he's doing, right? Like he knows
He's playing chess.
Yeah, exactly. Like he
Yeah.
knows, obviously he's smart about people are attracted to him, and he knows why they're attracted to him, and he knows how to leverage it, you know, even like by the clothes he does and even the people he associates himself with, you know what I mean? So that's definitely inspiring, especially like from when I first met him. He wasn't as famous. He was always famous, but he wasn't as big as he is now. But to see how much he's grown and how he's even like kind of handled it and how he just maneuvers through everything is like really inspiring. And also like it makes me feel like, dang, like if he has a Lambo, then man, I could get a Lambo one day. You know what I mean? Like obviously it's not about the material stuff, but he's also very grounded in everything too. He's not like a jerk or anything like that, you know, because I've met like famous people and they're just like, there's some that are dickheads, you know, and it's just like turns me off, and I don't, and if I was even a slight fan of them, like I don't know, I guess it's one of those things like don't meet your idols type of thing. But from Sean for sure, like I've like not studied, just been inspired really by how he moves, I guess, you know, with his branding, the videos he does, even like he's smart as far as like when he does do interviews or gets in front of the camera, like to capitalize those moments, I guess. You get me?
Yeah.
Versus if you compare it to other fighters and you see when they're getting interviewed, they're just super monotone and boring. Like there's like nothing exciting about their life, and they wonder why nobody is like attached to them, I guess.
Right. I feel like he knows he's performing.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Rather than just, oh, I'm a fighter.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a performer.
Yeah. He's like he has a good balance of, obviously he's a really top tier athlete. I see him kind of like I always think about when I watch like random Kobe interviews or Michael Jordan. He has like that same mindset, you know. But he's also very smart as far as how you're saying he's performing as well. And I felt like with like if you say like a Kobe, they weren't really thinking about like being like performative, you know, but they were just so top tier that you couldn't not talk about them type of thing. But he's both, so which is crazy. But yeah, I don't know if that answered.
That's beautiful. I think he's been so smart in how he communicates with the media, which is the way he navigates, like you're saying. Like even recently, you had this thing in the UFC where Dana White was, he's on one side, he's being accused of like hitting a woman from the other side, whatever side that is. So he's accusing, like kind of the side that's accusing. Andrew Tate and things like that of doing different things. Who knows what he did? Maybe I shouldn't even said that. But we have Dana White with the slap incident, and Sugar brought up how it was how it was released in press when it happened versus when it was actually released. And then I love how he's just honest. I noticed you and Sugar both are really honest in how you answer the media. You don't sugarcoat things. You stay out of the gossip. You're just straight to the point. Straight to the point. Hey, Dana got slapped. He had some alcohol in him. He kind of slapped back his wife. It was between them. It was caught. And instead, versus the way the media is blowing it up, would you say that's kind of true? What you've seen of Sugar is he's just.
Yeah, he's very. I mean, so Tim and Sean are both very like they'll tell it how it is type of thing. And they also, I feel like they're very lighthearted because they'll crack jokes, but it's not like they're being serious, you know? If you don't know them, I guess I can see how people will take it wrong. But at the same time, it's like, dude, they're just being goofy about the situation. I don't know. But I know what you mean. Yeah, it's very just say how it is, and they're not trying to, I guess, be like very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like political, you know? Politics, just kind of say the thing that you want to hear type of thing. Like they're just kind of like, no, this is my thoughts on it. You could either agree with it or not. And I've learned a lot to just, at the end of the day, it's like they're just being themselves, being authentic, you know? And
I feel like that's a brand of Sugar and the brand that you're going for with the product brand.
Yeah, for sure. Just being myself, and I'm showing what I'm interested in. And if other people are interested in it, cool. If not, like, who cares, you know?
I heard something is like, if it's the truth, it doesn't need to be scripted.
Yeah, exactly.
What you're saying is you don't have to try to make a moment. If you're just being you, it's just going to...
Yeah, when you're authentic, it's natural. Like, imagine trying to be fake all the time. And, I mean, your real self is going to come out. You know, your true colors are going to come out eventually type of thing. But, yeah, that's another thing I've learned from them, too, is just be yourself. You know, at the end of the day, people are going to either like you or not.
True. We talk about you a lot. The three of us we're fans. I would say we're JX fans. You know, Sugar is like he's super fan or whatever. But you've really inspired us a lot, not just to push forward with this podcast and how you stay consistent, kind of carrying those jiu-jitsu characteristics into how you do business. But I think you've influenced us a lot in how you've gone about developing your brand. I mean, Levi's working on developing his brand right now, which is a super exciting brand that's going on, and Dana's working on developing a brand, and I'll have conversations with Levi, and it's just amazing how I studied this stuff pretty deeply 20 years ago. I'm now in kind of operating my third business, and the way that branding and marketing and business altogether has changed, probably even just in the last 3 or 4 years, is just it's just incredible. I couldn't even have fathomed that business would change this month. If you're starting a business out right now versus just 7 years ago, it's so different. If you tried to start business right now, as if somebody was successful starting a new business 7 years ago, it would completely fail. That's how different things have gotten.
I think so too, but I think there's like core principles in a good brand.
Yeah.
The same way there's core principles or fundamentals in jiu-jitsu. Like you have to have a good base before you can start getting like, I guess, kind of crazy. That's how I think about it too. Ooh. Because I read books like this guy, Seth Godin. He's like the godfather of marketing. And even his oldest books still, like they aged well because, yeah, maybe he's not talking about posting on Instagram 3 times a day or whatever, posting reels. Yeah. But at the end of the day, like he understands the core principles of a good brand, you know? And I'm always like trying to study more. I think I'm just like super passionate about it, so I don't feel like it's work. So I'm always looking up documentaries of other brands that are super successful, or it doesn't even have to be a brand, you know, it could be a company. Like, you know, why is Starbucks successful, or why is McDonald's, like, why are they so big, you know? But yeah, I think it has changed, but I think at the core, as long as you have those like that a good base, you'll be okay.
Right. You still have to do these things, right? Yeah. Like no matter what.
It's not like just post 5 times on Instagram and TikTok, YouTube, and you're gonna blow up. No, like maybe you'll be cool for like a year or 2, and then you're gonna burn out, and then I think there's a lot of brands like that though that I see that are super like just go crazy on the social media stuff, but they're very like trendy, and I don't think there's longevity in it. You know, I'm trying to play the long game, same way with jiu-jitsu. Like it's forever. I don't see myself ever stopping doing what I'm doing, like creating. You get me?
Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, my grandpa had told me as a businessman, it's no matter what, it's always going to be universal. It's how you treat people and how you connect with them. Exactly. It may have changed the means of how we connect, but that's going to be a crucial part of every business forever, I think.
Yeah, I think the core too is like what you're saying is people just want to connect. It's like a feelings thing, you know. Everybody wants to feel good. Like I want people to feel good when they're wearing my stuff, to feel almost like a little bit of more swag in you, or a little bit more like walk up with your chest a little bit higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just feel better.
Hey, I feel that.
So, but yeah, I think too, it's a lot of, I think it's a lot of, like emotion is a big thing in a good brand for sure.
That's beautiful. So I hear this a lot of people, and I think I've been here in my life at one point, and you kind of touched on this as well, is you have a dream, you have a goal, you want to start, you have this vision, you want to start this brand, you have a direction, you got a passion you want to go in, but it's really hard to get that from that point of maybe being stuck in your job, maybe being stuck on the couch, to stepping it, forward and getting that spot where you can start to successfully launch a brand. What are some pieces of advice you could give people that are trying to, get to that point?
I think what I did, I just kept my expenses kind of low, and I didn't have a car payment. I don't know when's the last time I had a car payment, but that's a big thing. And I just try to keep my lifestyle super low. Like, I just didn't have a lot of expenses, and I think just save up. I don't know. It's hard because everybody's like, I just want to quit my job, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have friends like that who just want to quit my job, and then I see them buying like $600 pair of shoes, or they have like a crazy car payment, and they just keep like getting more stuff. Yeah. And it's like, dude, you wonder why you can't quit your job, because your lifestyle is crazy. And I think just try to keep everything very minimum, and just whatever your priorities are, whether it's like making clothes or whatever, or save up for a camera, or nowadays you have like Afterpay and credit cards. Like, dude, just get a nice little camera and just pay it in payments. I don't know. It depends what you're trying to do, I guess. But I think the main thing for me was I just kept my expenses really low, where I could afford to live off of like $2,000 a month, or $1,500 a month, and I'm still good, type of thing, Yeah.
How did you end up meeting Tim and Sugar and getting connected with them?
Jakar Close, he's the head coach for the MMA team. I had met Jakar a couple years ago before he was in the UFC through a mutual friend. And that mutual friend, I was always doing videos around this time. He's like, hey, you should come film my buddy. He's going to be in the UFC one day. And at the time, I didn't know anything about UFC or what it was. And I kind of I'm not going to lie, I kind of half-assed the video because I was just like doing it as a favor more than anything. And I did a video for him, but I met Dre, and he was like, he's always been like the same, like super down to earth, super friendly, just really good people, yes. Since I met him. And I did a video for him, and then fast forward, nothing really happened out of that video. A couple years later, I started doing jiu-jitsu, and he saw, and I think he just commented like, just fire or something like that, like just kind of gassing me up. And then I went on his page, and around this time, obviously I was in jiu-jitsu, so I started getting into like UFC and stuff like that. And then I seen like his thing. It said, oh, UFC, whatever his record was at the time. And then I was like, damn, that's crazy. And in my head, I was just like, he does this for a living. And I was so in love with jiu-jitsu. I still am, but I was so like, this was like, I only did jiu-jitsu. I didn't even focus on clothes or anything. My life was just go train, come home, sleep, eat, go train. Like, that's it. Nice. And then I seen him. Obviously, he's a professional fighter. He does this for a living. So in my head, I was like, they must have like the best of the best guys, And I just said, hey, if I do more video work for you, can I just come train at the gym you're at for free, or work out a deal? Like, I didn't even care about getting paid. I was just so eager to train and to get better at jiu-jitsu, and I wanted to be in like the best room. And we ended up making a deal where he's just like, yeah, just come film me. I think I did a fight camp for him or just random stuff. And I trained at the gym he was at the time, the lab, just for like 6 months for free. And then sure enough, that led to me meeting Tim, you know? And then once I met Tim, I think I was just taking pictures. I was there pretty frequent, and everybody would see me, so they started getting like comfortable, and they say, "Hey, take some pictures." And then Tim came up to me and said, "Hey, can you take some photos of me?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And at the time, I don't think I knew really who they were, you know? And then I sent it over to him, and then that was kind of how that relationship started with me and Tim. And he saw that I do jiu-jitsu. He said, "Hey, I see that you train. You could come to my gym." This one he was at Gents. He had like a little square, like a little mat space. He's like, "Come over here. You could get some training in as long as you just do media stuff, like a couple photos, pictures, whatever." And it just happened to work out that their current producer had like quit on them, and they had posted, "We're looking for a new person to help us produce the show." And at the time, I had already done a bunch of music videos, but I never done a podcast. So I kind of just winged it, and I was like, it should be the same. You're just syncing this audio and that audio. It shouldn't be hard in my mind. And I was like, I'm just going to give it a go. And if I fuck up, then at least I tried. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and I was kind of nervous. So I remember, because after like I had them on social media, I was like, damn, like they're pretty big on social media. Like they have a good following. And at the time, it wasn't like crazy, but it was still crazy to me, like coming from zero. And it just worked out. I just went up to him at the lab. I was like, "Hey, are you guys still looking?" I went up to Sean because I didn't see Tim. I went up to Sean. I was like, "Hey, are you guys still looking for a guy?" And I swear, I like thought about it for a couple like moments. I was like, I'm not gonna ask him, you know. And then I finally did. And then he's like, "Yeah." And then Tim was like, "Yeah, come to our house or Tim's house on Monday, and we'll just go from there." And sure enough, like 4 years later.
Man, there's some gold in that. Anybody to that the question I'd asked a little bit ago of how do you get from that point of maybe you're stuck in having in your job and you want to get to that other point. He stepped out. You notice that he stepped out and connected with a community of people that were like-minded in achieving a positive goal. And from there, he was willing to. He didn't expect right away, "Hey, I should be getting this. I should be getting." No, he's just going to work. I'm willing to work for free. This is what I love to do. And staying open, connecting with people, having traits that I noticed JX has. He's very humble. He's very loyal, doesn't get caught up in gossip and things like that. You stick with those general principles and you're probably going to achieve your goal from that. And yep. Man, I'm thinking too, Tim Welch, who owns the gym that we train out, Soul Fighters. Just such a generous, kind-hearted guy. He's got another side to him, very, very. How would you say it? Almost like in a good way, like a sinister fighter, you know, a badass type of guy. Yeah. But he's just an incredible guy, and his kindness is really. You know, it allowed all of us in this community to be able to rise up and start to, achieve some of our goals and work towards them. You know Tim real well. You're pretty close to him. What are some things about Tim that people might not know about him, or things that have really impressed on your life?
I'm trying to think.
Not shit.
No. I think a lot of people know, like on the Red Hawk Recap, Temple Sugar Show, if you like, that's him, you know, that's him. Like he's not any different off cam. But he's definitely like been a mentor, you know, in my life for sure. And he's always like pushes me to kind of grow in kind of in all levels. You know, at first obviously it was just jiu-jitsu, but then it kind of grew into friendship, and now like he's for sure like one of my closest friends. And he always helps me pretty much in all areas, you know, whether it's jiu-jitsu, and like we'll talk about my jiu-jitsu goals, and then going into now being a teacher in jiu-jitsu, and even just on like he's always making sure I'm good, you know, whether it's you know, at a time where I think I was going through a breakup or something, and he knew my situation, my living situation, and he offered, you know, his home to me, him and Mariah, and I lived with him for a bit. But he's always looking out for me, you know, and he's always like, I don't think there's anything people wouldn't know aside from, you could tell he's like a good guy, and he's down to earth. And he's just always looking out for like the people that's around him. You know, like if you're in his like in the community, which is basically TW. You know, like if you're in there, obviously like there's something that clicks for all of us. So he looks after everybody. Kind of the same way. He's just a really good coach, teacher, mentor. I'm pretty grateful to have met him, honestly, because like even Tim and Sean, both of them, my life has gone like this because of them, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, they've just been such a great, like a good impact on me. And now we're at a point where we're all kind of, everybody's kind of growing their own stuff, you know, which is cool. Like we all still come together and still build up the Sugar Show, whether it's with the podcast or vlogs or whatever. And then even on the mats, we're all pushing ourselves like to limits, you know, going hard and just keep training, you know, keeping each other accountable type of thing. And now even with our businesses, you know, Tim has the gym, he has the Red Hawk Recap, Sean has his stuff going on too, his line, his own other podcast as well. And then I have my own little, we all have like little mini universes, you know, but we all are like kind of like under the same little
umbrella,
tree.
yeah,
umbrella. So it's been awesome. I mean, it's crazy to think, because have you read that Naval book, Almanac?
No,
You
I've
should
read
read
something
it.
else by
It's
him.
pretty.
I don't
It's
think I've
pretty.
read it.
It's such an easy read, and like you could reread it and always gain something. But I think at one part talks about like going to business with people you could see working like forever type of thing. And I just lucked out because I could see myself being in business with him like pretty much forever, you know, if everything goes well. And I just kind of lucked out because I know people that go to their jobs and they hate their bosses or they hate the work environment.
Right, yeah.
And dude's like, it's like a dream work environment. Podcasting with some friends, really, and that's it. And training hard, and we're traveling, and I've got to meet so many people and just so many experiences through them. You know, just I don't know. It's pretty crazy. It trips me out sometimes too.
Because you've been out there with the most famous people of this coming generation, Nelk and Impulsive, and those guys. Past generation doesn't understand, have any bearing of what level that is. I don't even know how to relate it to past generation, except maybe like a really famous. They would be like equative with a famous musician or Dynamite.
Probably like what would you say? Like a
Like
because they're the
Logan
new
Paul
TV show,
is
right?
Like,
they're the new TV.
The Rock, maybe. Like
There you
go.
a miniature, like up and coming.
They're like what
Whoa,
TV
that's a
shows
good
are
one.
really like the live Jimmy Kimmels and all that shit.
The only thing I can think of is like SNL was about as big as it gets, like getting people like that, because they were famous on and off.
Yeah.
You know, like a John Belushi or a John Candy, like those kinds of guys.
I think all
That's
the
true.
like Sean, Tim, all those guys that are super popping. Like the one thing that sticks out is they're all authentic.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the biggest thing that I learned from Sean and Tim was just be authentic, be you. Like regardless people like you or not. Like it's gonna, if you're faking it and they like you, because it's gonna come out eventually, and then you're gonna have to, you know, part
and
ways.
that
or
goes
whatever.
back to is just like your brand or you're not for everybody. You know, you're gonna
Right.
find those like-minded people, and you're gonna just attract. And that's what's cool about my brand too. Is like I've met a lot of cool people just off, just the product stuff. You know, like they don't even know me from Tim and Sean. They're just like, dude, no, like I just know you from the product stuff. Like I just found out about you, and I'm attracted to like the little whatever I'm curating. You know, so it's pretty cool
You
how.
were telling me you've even seen it pop up in places like you wouldn't even expect it now, right? Like overseas and things.
Oh yeah, I've gotten shipments from everywhere, and it's again, it just goes back to just being consistent, and then I feel like I'm dialing it in as far as my direction that I'm going with the brand as of now, and it's definitely I'm just like, dude, I have no idea who this person is, obviously, and I'm just like, I think there's no amount of money that you can put on that feeling when you see like the sales, and also when you just see someone randomly wearing your stuff, you know, it's just
Nice.
kind of like, dang, like, and I'll have people message me like on Instagram, like, hey, I'm over here downtown Phoenix. I seen like 3-4 people wearing your stuff. Like, I know it's not a lot, but it's like, that's crazy. And I don't know, like the close friends that have been with me have seen my growth, I guess.
Did you like what was your mindset when you were training at the lab? Like, were you like, where am I going with this? Like, what was your, like, did you want to be a fighter, or like, what were you?
At first I just wanted to be like a world champ jiu-jitsu guy, Yeah, I was just always so in love with jiu-jitsu. Just something about it. I just felt super cool. I felt like fucking John Wick or something. For real, I felt like a superhero or something. Just doing like, I mean, I still do have my moments where I'm like, this is sick, and I just wanted to be the best grappler I could possibly be, and yeah, and then it's not that I don't anymore. Don't get me wrong, I still love it, but I know what it takes to be a world champ jiu-jitsu, like especially at the higher levels, like purple and up.
Right.
It's like, fuck, that's like your life, you know? And I mean, if I wanted to, I'd probably commit. I feel like I am pretty committed, though. That's the thing. I mean, I still have a good chance of competing with like the top guys and stuff like that. But I have so many other passions, I guess,
right.
where it's not like make or break for me, you know?
Yeah, it's not
like,
forced, which
yeah,
I think is good.
Yeah.
May even make you better at jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, that's true. Because I don't have any like really pressure, I guess.
It's not like work.
Yeah, exactly. You know? And it's crazy because, I mean, just Sundays and Wednesdays are the days we record. The other days I'm just training or doing whatever, working on my brand. So, but sometimes I'm like, no, I got to go train. I got to get better because I don't know if I'm going to always have this much amount of like freedom, you know? And yeah, just taking advantage. I've just been training a lot more. But yeah, I think I'm just so passionate about the branding stuff. And then I'm also doing like other video stuff on the side and then jiu-jitsu. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that.
I think it's good to be balanced, like to
balance
it out like that.
Me too. I think if you're too, like, all your marbles are in this thing, it's just kind of like, it's hard because what if you get hurt, you know? What if you get hurt? Because a lot of people I've seen, like, they're just get attached to this lifestyle or this, they're identified with this. Like, I'm just a fighter.
Right.
But it's like, you get hurt, then what? What are you doing? Like, you're just going crazy because you don't know what you're doing.
It's going to be over eventually. At some point, you can't be fighting at 60.
Yeah, exactly. And especially MMA, I feel like MMA, like, it's like like 40. You could probably fight up to 40, if that. And but with jiu-jitsu, what's cool is like, yeah, you could be 60 rolling around and stuff. But yeah, I always think about that too. How I try not to even identify myself as like, okay, if like I didn't have jiu-jitsu, then I have the brand. But if I didn't have the brand, then I think I'll just find a tool or something else where I could express myself. At the end of the day, I think it's just
expression.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even with jiu-jitsu, I feel like I'm just being creative when I'm in there, like the way I roll and stuff. And yeah, I think no matter what, like I always find a little lane to kind of just give me paper,
like
pencil.
I'm gonna get. That's what I think is like. Oh, I'm gonna get better at this now.
Yeah.
Like I'm just gonna get better. And jiu-jitsu made me really realize like it doesn't matter how bad you are. Like if you focus on anything, like you can get pretty good at it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And because I think a lot of people are hesitant to do their brand. Obviously, when you first start, it's not going to be the best, you know. But just keep going. You're going to get better at it, at branding or at whatever, how you're saying, jiu-jitsu or like, it's just kind of that little, when you kind of procrastinate to do something, I think more people are embarrassed to start jiu-jitsu or like scared. But it's like, dude, you're supposed to suck in the beginning. Yeah. So kind of with anything, you're supposed to suck.
Truth. Yeah, I can attest. There's a kind of a secret comp training that goes on every week nearby, and we in that room. This is my favorite thing to watch. I just go in there and watch this. There's some of the best grapplers and MMA guys, even some UFC guys from all over that come and train there. And JX, I think he's one of the most fun guys. Maybe we're biased, but I just love to watch this guy roll, man. He's in there. He'll be going up against some of the toughest guys in there and throwing up flying triangles and just like a real life John Wick. And he's just having fun in there. Sometimes he's dancing in between his jiu-jitsu, and every now and then I'll see him go against a new guy that comes in and this kind of mean, and he's out there trying to prove himself. And he never gets riled. I feel like it's kind of like Sugar. There's like almost like a stoic. You just kind of go into a stoicism chill mode where you don't get angry or nothing. I don't think I've ever seen you get angry. And we've had some people, man, in some of those classes that have pushed you a little bit, man. You stay in this. And I think, I wonder, would you say have you always been that way, or did jiu-jitsu kind of get you to that point?
I feel like I've always been very neutral, very calm. I don't really get angry much. Even when I'm in like a relationship, I don't ever raise my voice really. If anything, I mean, it could be, if anything, the way I'll kind of express it, I guess I won't even express it. I'll just kind of keep it to myself. You know what I mean? If I am a little bit upset or a little bit irritated or something, I think my way of showing it is I'm just quiet. I'll just, if anything, the way I look at it is like, let me process it and try to understand why I'm feeling this way or why am I getting mad instead of like just yelling or something, you know?
Man, that's good.
But I think, I always think about why I'm like that too. It's probably just because growing up, there was a lot of yelling growing up. So maybe I don't want to be that, you know?
Understand.
So I think that's why I'm very calm, stoic. Stoic before I even know what it was.
Like rolling, you look playful, like you're playing. Yeah. I've even with baseball, I've wrote like in my journal and stuff, like over exaggerate the looseness and playfulness in like my mechanics. Yeah. Because when I get stiff and like robotic, it's not as good. So I have to almost try to be like more style, like they call it coño finish because a lot of Latin guys will finish like that. Wow. And I've tried like over exaggerate that, just like let it fly.
That's it. I feel like I've always been attracted to people that just kind of move that way. You know what I mean?
Like flowy.
Yeah, very flowy and kind of like dancey almost, and very carefree almost, and they're just having fun. Like even when I started doing sports, my first sport I got into was soccer, and I would always look at the guys that like, I'm like, dude, they look like they're not even playing a sport. They look like they're in a flow state, right? Or a trance or something, like the way they just move. And even then I started getting into basketball, and I was very attracted to the guys that were just almost a little bit flashy.
Gliding.
Yeah, and they're just like, the way they move. I guess something about that, maybe that's why I like jiu-jitsu so much too, is because you have so much, like, it's you, right? It's not when you're in a team, you're kind of relying on your other teammates to pull through. When in jiu-jitsu, it's like, dude, this is on you. Like, you have to be accountable. Like once you're tired, I can't just quit. Or and I think that's why I love jiu-jitsu, because it's like at the end of the day, it's like you can really see you get what you put in type of thing, you know?
Right. I think it's interesting how people roll, like the way they roll lines up with personality.
Yeah, I always think of that too.
Yeah.
I always think of that too. It's like,
because I'm on the other end where I'm like very rigid, like strong, like I can jump. Like if you want me to jump high, but I'm good this way and that way. Yeah. But not like this, you know. I can't like.
No, you've changed a lot. You've got. It's
been nonstop. Like I'm trying to break that. Yeah. Because I've always been like, okay, we're gonna broad jump from here to there, and that's it. Yeah. Or like all the tests that I did athletic wise was just, okay, sprint straight. Yeah. We're going this way, and how fast or just throw this ball as hard as you can at that.
I think I've always been a little bit of a rebel when it comes to like. Yeah. Okay, run straight, but I'm like, but what if I run like this? What are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like I've always had that in me. I don't know why.
I've realized now that the guy like training so rigid and just like up, down, drop.
Yeah, I think there's benefits to both, though. You know?
Yeah, I'm too far on the other side where like if we like, you know what I mean?
Because maybe who knows why? I don't know why my personality or why I've always been kind of attracted to kind of doing the opposite almost, you know? Like I remember this one vivid memory of like my aunt, she was coloring. I was like probably 3rd, 2nd grade. I don't know why I always remember this, but she was like coloring, but you know, how you're taught, you know, sky is blue, the sun is yellow, grass is green. And she was coloring stuff that didn't make sense, you know, like the grass was purple and she was doing like the sky like orange or something crazy, right? And I was just like, I asked her, I was like, why are you coloring like that? And she was like, what do you mean? And she was like, you could do whatever. Like, you could color however you want. And then after that, I took my coloring book. I was just going crazy. I think, like, cool. Just, like, colors that, obviously, they're not supposed to be that color. Right. But I think that's what kind of, like, was my first moment of, like, being creative.
Breaking the mold.
Yeah. And ever since then, with whatever, like, in basketball, remember Allen Iverson, how he would always, he was, like, he dressed cool on the court, you know, like he had swag on the court, and I was always attracted to like people like that. I think that maybe that's why even Sean, you know, he's like that. He's very like showman like, and always thought about.
He's definitely like in the thread of the AI.
Like look how he fights, very flowy, very creative.
That's like that. For me, performance wise, that's my main focus right now, to get more. Because I used to be the guy that would be pissed off at the, like, bro, what are you doing? Quit fucking around.
Yeah.
You know. But I was so like structured, which like personality, style, like the way I play, all aligned with that.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting to kind of think about. I think both are necessary though, because I don't think it's kind of with anything. I always think about like religion or the way people dress or the way people roll. Like, there's no right way, quote unquote right way. You know, I think
True.
but I think at the end is like how you. I don't even know.
Balance. It's a balance.
Yeah, it's just a balance, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna have different styles, but I think that's what makes the world cool. Like all these different styles and beliefs and perspectives. You know, there's never gonna be like, all right, we all agree on one thing. You know,
True.
Or we all should do this one thing. Like, imagine how boring life would be if we were all the same. I always think about that too.
Yeah.
But,
That's a good word. Speaking of the boring and the opposite of boring, I'm kind of curious to know what happened on New Year's. How was your New Year's, sir?
What did you do New Year's? I think I just hung out. I think I don't even remember. No, I just hung out with some friends. I have some friends that work like at little bars and stuff, and we just went out for I think till midnight. And then at midnight we ended up going. One of my friends had a DJ set. We went to go watch his DJ set. I had a couple drinks. I was trying to kind of tame myself because the next day we usually do the podcast.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't end up going to sleep till like probably 4 a.m. And I woke up, and sure enough, Sean had went out that night too. But he was too hungover that we didn't do the pod. But he went out to the club to Scottsdale and stuff. But I was just hanging out with some friends. It was more like kind of like this, like a smaller room like this. And we just all had a couple drinks. And then at midnight, obviously, Happy New Year's. And then we went to the DJ set. So it wasn't too wild, honestly.
Right on. I'm mixing it up with I just caught. I think the video was behind of when you guys went to Vegas. That was a couple weeks before that, right?
When did we go to? Oh yeah. That was a couple weeks.
Yeah. What was that? I know you guys hopped on a jet with Sugar.
Oh yeah. Went on a private jet, which is crazy. Never thought I would be on a private jet. And after that, it was just like one of those trips. I think Sean just got paid to do like a appearance at the club or something. I think. And like a watch party for UFC. It was a pretty fun night though. It was just us, like me and like all the Jobins and stuff, and we just had a good time, you know. But I think it's fun like when you're with your boys, but like other than that, I wouldn't like clubbing is not like crazy, you know.
Yeah.
I think obviously like when you watch vlogs and stuff, they make it like look cooler than what it is. But then again, I'm kind of introvert, so. But it's fun, you know. After you get a couple drinks, you loosen up, you start talking to girls and stuff. But
Heck yeah.
that's it. Nothing crazy.
There's a good one too. Is I love this story. Maybe Dana can mic up a little bit, and I'd love to hear you guys talk a little bit about how Dana got connected to JX.
Go ahead, Dana.
I'm going to speak exactly how I spoke on the last one.
Check.
Check.
Yeah, check. Yeah, I was gonna try and say it different than last time, but I guess I don't know. I guess just hit up JX. It's kind of the same way that he met them, you know. In a way, it's like just kind of asked them, you know. And I think a lot of people like underestimate how valuable that still is, to just straight up ask for what you want, kind of. And yeah, I mean, I was following all the Jobin stuff. I was following the Patreon at the time. Probably only for a couple months, and then saw JX was producing the pod, because I just like looking into who's doing the stuff behind the scenes, and hit him up, asked if they needed help. Sure enough, he needed help, and JX welcomed me like 2 days later. I remember I pulled up and I like texted him I was there, and he didn't answer for like 25 minutes.
Really?
And I was sitting out there. I'm like, damn, like
Stood you up.
Yeah, no, I don't know what I was thinking. Maybe I was just starting to think like, all right, like, you know, maybe they don't really need my help like I think they do, you know, or something. And then meeting you, I just immediately understood, like, you were just like, oh, bro, I just wasn't looking at my phone. Like, and that just, like, made me feel, like, a lot better just about the whole situation. Like, you made me feel really welcome. Everybody did. And then, I just started going to Jiu Jitsu and stuff like that. And 2 weeks in, probably, I was talking to my mom on the phone outside of my car, and Tim came out and like gave me some gear and was like, yo, you want to do this all the time? And I was like, yeah, sure. So that was pretty sick. Yeah.
Pretty blessed to meet Dana too, because he's super talented producer, and I used a lot of his beats. Like even on the earlier vlogs, I would always use Dana's beats and Sean's vlogs. And even on now, like that I'm doing my own YouTube channel, I've been using just Dana's stuff, like only. And it's cool to see where Dana's at now, though, because you've like got to a place where you're still being creative, doing music with other people now too.
Yeah, I mean,
cool.
I haven't obviously been able to like express it to Tim or Sean like you have with how things have gone, but like I wouldn't have the job I have now if I didn't do the pod. Like when I put that on my resume, I was like doing it for almost a year and a half at that point, and that was like the first thing they asked me about when I like got interviewed for my job, and yeah, I mean, who knows if I would have even gotten considered for it, and like you said, some people hate their jobs and all that shit. I got really blessed. Like I love my job so much now, and it's given me a ton of, I wouldn't have this camera here. Like he's talking about, like, save up, and dude, you might get lucky. You might work a job where they let you use their lights and their camera and you know, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was all because of Timbo Sugar Show too.
Yeah, that's what I learned too. Is just like, because even in the beginning, I wasn't getting paid really nothing. Like our trade off was, I wasn't looking at it like, damn, I'm not getting paid anything. I was more looking at it like, damn, I'm getting to do one, video stuff that I'm already passionate about, and then two, I'm getting to like train with high level guys. You know, I'm getting like this type of experience, or people like would like people literally will move states just to come train here. You know, and I always think about that too. It's like, I just gotta take advantage of it, even if I don't get paid a lot. Like I'm getting paid in like
the form of
knowledge,
currency
and
is
then,
different.
Yeah, the form of currency is different. Exactly. Like now our friendship, now I'm really close with them, and I've gotten to meet way more people and experience travel a lot. Just because, imagine if I was just like, man, I'm not getting paid shit. Fuck this. You know what I mean?
Right.
Versus like, no, like I enjoy it. They're really cool people. Like I know the money's gonna come. And yeah, fast forward a couple years later, like, dude, I couldn't ask for more. You know what I mean? So
it's beautiful.
Did you see it coming? Did you see like 3 years ago? Did you see where you're at now coming, or like you're like, hell no, you can't believe it?
I feel like it was bound to happen, just because what I've learned from them is they're very like, let's do it, you know?
Right, go for it.
Yeah, let's go for it, and let's do it, and let's just grind it out, you know, no matter what type of thing. And that's what I learned, because we started in a little, like, Tim's extra bedroom, just with like a little shitty webcam and like a H6, and that's it. And like at the time, the views were only like probably like 3 to 6, 7K views. And now it's like, you know, average like 50K to 100, 200K views average now, I feel. Around there. So, but for me, I was just like, man, we'll see where it goes, you know. Like, I just always loved doing video stuff, and I love doing jiu-jitsu, so it was like, wherever I go type of thing. I feel like I've always been good at just being kind of grateful for where I'm at and what I'm receiving at the time. And I'm also very like, no matter where I'm at, I'm gonna make it work, you know. And that's what Naval talks about in his book, The Almanac. He's like, he wants to, like, you want to be able to feel like you can have enough skills in whatever area where you could start from zero and just be good wherever, you know. And I feel like that's where I'm aiming for as well. And that's what's cool about jiu-jitsu, is like, once you get your black belt, especially like a really respected black belt, like from under Tim Welch, like people are gonna be like, okay, like you're legit, you know. I could go anywhere in the world, open up my own gym, and who knows by the time where product will be by then. Who knows where I will be, like, directing stuff. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's going,
like
I think it's just gonna keep going up. You know, like I'm gonna keep improving jiu-jitsu, keep improving my brand creatively, like keep getting more skills. So
what's the brand that Rockhold and them train at?
Is it Ruka?
Yeah. Could be like that product gym.
For real. Yeah, I could definitely see that. I like Ruka a lot. Like, they actually make cool stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, like the whole environment that they do, I feel like they're very in the cut with like graffiti people, the streetwear world, obviously MMA world. So yeah, I could definitely see something like that in the future. Do like a cool little product gym like that.
There was a brand, and I read in a book, it was like a book about flow. I can't remember what it was called, the brand was called, but like their employees, it was in San Diego, and they could go surf. As long as they were surfing, they were allowed to leave work because they were the brand thought they're the most creative when they're surfing.
Oh, that's it.
So it was like if you're going, you can leave as long as you're surfing though.
That's cool. Yeah. I've definitely, I'm trying to get more, cause I like kind of sponsor people. Like it's crazy. Like it's crazy how, I always trip like people, like even this past Christmas, like this was some people's Christmas gift, you know, like a product hoodie or a product gi or whatever. And I'm like, dang, it's crazy that like, not crazy, but it is crazy at the same time, you know, because I remember when I couldn't sell like 12 shirts, but now my issue is just I can't keep it on me for long enough, you know, which is a good problem to have. But it's crazy to be like people, like this was their Christmas gift, you know, like this is what they wanted. It's like you guys could have picked anything, but you wanted like my stuff. And also, where was I going with that? But I think it's crazy that where that's gone to. But like, just people message me saying, "Dude, I just want like a product hoodie." Like the value that they're putting on it's pretty crazy to me. You know, I've always like knew it was gonna get here, and it's still like growing. It's still a very baby right now. But I remember when I first started it, this one guy messaged me just like, "Dude, I'm getting everything." Like people saw something maybe I didn't see in it in the beginning. They saw like it was bigger than me type of thing, you know? So I think where I was going with that is like people, like this one kid really wanted like a gi. He's like, dude, like, and there's like another expensive brand. He's like, I could get this brand for you if you just ship me out your stuff, you know? And like their stuff goes for like a couple $100. And I was like, okay, like even trade.
Nice.
So I think it's crazy though that people like it makes me happy too that people value it the same, you know? Like, dang, this is cool.
Yeah. I think even you could go like, if you wanted to go fashion, like you could go all the way to like the 151 style.
Yeah.
Like it's the same. It's not like their stuff is jacked way up because they sell it in Scottsdale and it's whatever. But like it's the same, you know, there's not a big difference between the style and like.
Thank you. I think so too, honestly. Like that's where I'm approaching the gi stuff where like, dude, people will message me like, is it weird if I buy the gi and I don't train? Like I just want to wear the jacket or I just want to wear the pants because they see it like it's so like a fashion,
awesome.
like it looks so cool by itself, you know?
That's so cool.
And I'm like, dude, of course, like don't think you have to train, obviously. Like I didn't think that in mind though, you know? I was just, but when I would be designing like the gis and stuff, it's like, dude, the gi by itself is such a cool looking outfit, I guess, you know what I mean? So imagine if you just added a little bit of flair to it. But yeah, I definitely like eventually want to go more into that route. But there's so much, you know. I think where I'm getting to now is like I'm starting to just build like a mini team because I feel like as you get bigger, you need a team, you know. You can't do it by yourself.
100%.
And I always thought like you can, but there's no way, dude. Like even just to help you with shipping, even just to help you with like, you know, Dana's helping me with the music background. Like he's like there's experts in that, you know. Like there's no way I would ever be as good as where Dana's at, you know, like or whoever. Even like design work, like I outsource a lot of designers, like whether it's a local designer, and I know I'm not nearly as good as these guys, and I'm like, no, well, like you're an expert in this field, like let me bring you here and elevate my brand, and hopefully it elevates them the same way, or they see it beneficial both ways. But yeah.
Oh, I know you've impacted me tremendously. One of the first people I consulted with when we were in the location right now of the Recharge Center where we do meal prep in our business, has done pretty well in this last year, is I consulted with JX and I knew that I was kind of behind in what I needed to do with the business and kind of struggling with how to reach out. And I just kind of studied what JX was doing, and he was telling me you don't need to stress so much at the beginning about having everything perfect. You don't need to be open all day long with the perfect storefront. You don't need to have the perfect website or anything like that. And I've learned by watching you kind of do drops with your stuff, almost like we started to implement into that. We'll suddenly just do kind of a meal drop and everybody kind of gets excited. I mean, not everybody, but people are like, all right, there's meals today. We're gonna go get those meals. And social media, we didn't really need to have a strong online presence with a website. Now we've kind of caught up to that, but with social media, connecting to the community through social media and Instagram, stuff like that, those are just some powerful components that have really impacted me. But I gotta I think we're gonna start wrapping up pretty soon, right, Dana? But I got a double barrel question for you. I'm gonna put you on a spot. We're gonna see JX is the double barrel. It's
Haven't heard that one in a while.
he's a
Getting me fired up, back in my roots.
this is a JX, such a creative performer. So we're gonna put him on the spot and see how he does with this.
Don't tell me.
No, we're not gonna ask him to freestyle. I do watch JX's podcast. Check out his YouTube channel, JX SOTO. He's got a fire pod that has started. You're gonna learn so much on that. It's so entertaining. It's such a fun podcast. Check out his stuff on Instagram. Check out product through Untapped. We'll post some of that stuff. But the question is, it's a two double-barreled. That's why I say double barrel. It's a two-part question, and it's way out there. But the first one is, what is somebody that gave you a piece of advice, maybe something that comes to mind first that really inspired you? And the second part is, for all of our thousands of female viewers out there that are wondering right now, what is JX's relationship status? So there's your double barrel question.
I'm trying to think of the first one. Wait, who's someone that inspired me the most, or what was it?
Advice. Yeah. See, I asked this way to give you an out if you didn't want to go one way or the other. You know what I'm saying?
No, you know what I always think about too. Steve Jobs has this quote where he's just like, he has a couple quotes, but I think, it just, people don't know what they want, so you put it in front of them, type of thing, you know. And I think it's so true, because sometimes I'll be on my phone, it's like I'm not looking for anything specifically, but then something pops up, I'm like, dang, I want this. So I think about it that way, as far as like how you present something. So like the way you even present like your food, like people didn't know they wanted, you know, this like organic meal, whatever it is, and you can only get it here. Like, I don't know. I think that quote always like resonates with me, because it's so true. Because sometimes I get in my head where it's like, why am I going to, everybody has a t-shirt. Why am I going to make another t-shirt, you know? Yeah. But if I present it the right way, and like I try to evoke an emotion,
nice,
or trigger something within you, then you're going to want it for whatever reason. I don't know. I always think of that quote.
Beautiful.
Like trust in the product.
Yeah.
That you
exactly.
have.
I always think about that quote. I don't know why. And I'm single. We'll wrap it up there.
Thousands of female guests.
Man,
thousands.
What about that? What about that answer though? That's a good clip of JX right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he knocked it out of the park there.
Yeah.
That was a sub. That was everything. That was beautiful.
I was waiting for that moment, Dana.
Beautiful. You got anything else, Levi?
I'm good to go.
Man, the first time we shot this, I thought it went good. It was a fire podcast.
It was better.
I think so. I was pretty sick the first one. At one point I was kind of asking Dana, will you switch with me? And he said, hang in there, bud, tough it out.
Really?
He shot me a text like halfway through
I was
the podcast.
not doing good.
Well, I was like, damn, Kyle's a little quiet.
Good. I'm feeling good this time. I probably didn't shut. I drank too much
Jay and Levi
caffeine or
show.
something. I love this podcast, man. I can't wait to listen to this a couple times. And
Thanks for having
for
me.
all of you, when you get in your fourth and fifth time, just give us some feedback of what you think. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Thanks for being on here, JX.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate it. Look forward to seeing what happens with Levi. It's getting up to that time of
Getting close.
where he's got his big time coming
100
up.
million contract soon.
Yeah, let's
Keep
go.
coming with
Let's
the
go.
Cuban link chain.
Where's thanks to Dana for always helping us. And hey, we love everybody watching. Thanks for growing with us into the Untapped. Have a best day.
Peace.
Bye.